Hi. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is that you're here to watch or listen to us in our podcast. This is Rainey and Ray, and we are talking freely. So
Hey,
today's
hey,
episode,
hey.
we'll be talking about the Jesse Wilson cold case in Buckeye, Arizona. Um, 10-year-old Jesse Wilson was adopted son of Crystal Wilson, and prior to moving to Buckeye, they lived in Avondale, Arizona. And cops had responded to the home, and Jesse had gotten out of the home, and he had told the police that he sometimes would go to school at 2 a.m. When police had asked to go into the room where two other boys were sleeping, they asked her to turn on the lights, and the boys both had what appeared to be backpack like harnesses on that were attached to the bed, long enough to move about in bed but not leave the room. And when asked why, she told the cops because they sneak outside in the middle of the night and they'd go play in the mud. So she would do it for their own safety. Mm.
Mhm.
So fast forward to July 17, 2016. They now live in Buckeye, and Jesse has been seen by neighbors wandering around in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 a.m., wearing his school uniform on more than one occasion. And only this time, Jesse is missing. A massive search begins. Many volunteers join in, and some neighbors said that he looked emaciated, and others said that they would hear the mom yelling at them. And so there was hope that he would return on his own since he's ran away before. A month goes by and still no sign of Jesse. And the night Jesse goes missing, he had climbed out from the second story window of the home. Crystal says this in a 911 call. And when she called, she claimed that Jesse had either gone out of the bedroom window or the back door, and also stated that this is something he has done before, and the police were aware of it. Crystal stayed in the media spotlight as the search continues. Crystal was never a suspect, but didn't mean that she wasn't being checked out. When Jesse's picture was seen on the TV by Jesse's biological father, he stepped in. Jesse and his twin sister were in the system at 1 year old, and the biological grandparents wanted to take the kids in, but there were prior CPS charges on them, so they couldn't. And the kids were removed from the home due to an unstable environment between the mom and dad. Crystal later had adopted them, and then she has been a foster parent as well. And then the case goes cold. And 2 years later, 2018, a developer had been working out on the 85 and found human remains, and they thought maybe this could be Jesse. The police department notified the biological father, and they needed his DNA in order to make a match. And the remaining children in Crystal's home were now put into other foster homes because this case was now a homicide case. Although Crystal still has not been charged, shortly after Jesse's remains were found, Crystal goes missing in action and moved to Georgia. She didn't talk to FBI or anything, and the community starts to believe that this death was caused at Crystal's hands, and the case goes cold again. 4 years later, update on Jesse's case was announced, and as this has been a huge impact to the Buckeye community, an immediate buzz amongst the media was that someone must have been arrested. Soon announced was that an arrest has been made in the death of Jesse Wilson, and the adoptive mother, Crystal Wilson, has been arrested, charged with abandoning and concealing of a body. And she was arrested in her home in Gainesville, Georgia, and will be extradited back to Arizona. 6 years after Jesse was missing, Crystal was now in custody. Although Crystal was arrested, she was not being charged for homicide, murder charges. Concealing and abandonment is only a felony charge. Police chief says that there's a lot of leads. This is all they could come up with. Crystal has only given conflicting statements. She knows what happened. There was no murder weapon. Neglect could have played a factor. Um, so 2024, the case against Jesse Wilson, um, Crystal ended up getting her case dismissed because there was not enough evidence to prosecute at this time. So, where did the foster care go wrong on this? And the cause of death is unknown. This is still an active homicide. If any new evidence surfaces and can be proven by a reasonable doubt, Crystal would be arrested again. And after more findings, found out that she had lived in California and that she had several complaints with CPS, and the children were removed from custody. Why? Because they were underfed and being punished the same way that she punished these kids. How the hell did she get approved for foster care in Arizona? How is this not enough evidence yet that there was foul play involving this chick? This is so frustrating. And I have a video that I want to play that has the information about the California and her 911 call.
Okay.
Ten-year-old Jesse Wilson went missing in 2016. His remains discovered in the desert this past March. Our 12 News I team is uncovering disturbing new details about Jesse's short life. 400 pages of child welfare information. For months, we fought to get the documents released to the public. And what we're learning is hard to believe, even as the little boy's death remains a mystery.
Yeah, Team 12 Hits has this exclusive I-Team report.
In those 400 pages, we're learning that Crystal Wilson was allowed to adopt Jesse and 2 other kids, even though in California, CPS had taken away 6 foster kids.
Those 400 pages are a log of every interaction the Department of Child Safety had with Crystal Wilson, dating back to 2013. DCS investigated a claim she had hit Jesse and was withholding food from the kids. DCS said those claims were unsubstantiated.
Buckeye Police, how can I help you?
Yes. My son has either climbed out the window, which he's done before.
But should Crystal Wilson ever have had Jesse and the other kids? Fast forward to the week after Jesse disappeared, the documents show DCS became aware Wilson was a foster parent in California and may have had kids taken away for neglect. The case officer asked Crystal about fostering those kids in California. She said there were 6, and all of them were reunited with family or placed with relatives. But Crystal couldn't remember their names. The documents show a space for follow-up action, things DCS needs to do before the next meeting. Starting in January of 2017, there's a note saying DCS should follow up with California authorities for any records they have and gives a deadline of February. That date keeps changing from February to March to the end of March to as soon as possible to immediately. The note to get California's records about Crystal Wilson stays there for at least 8 months. It finally disappears in November. California authorities allegedly said Crystal was withholding food from the kids as a punishment, the same thing she was accused of doing to Jesse. And remember that investigation back in 2013, the claim that Jesse was being abused and starved? There's a section at the beginning that asks specifically for any prior history in Arizona or other states or jurisdictions. The 6 kids allegedly taken away never appear there. This is just the latest revelation in these documents obtained by 12 News after a legal fight. Documents from DCS investigators that claim the kids were locked in their rooms, harnessed to the bed, not allowed to go to the bathroom, and a home with very little food and a refrigerator full of liquor. DCS says state law won't let them answer questions about how Crystal Wilson could have had 3 kids if she'd had children taken away before. And according to another note, Crystal Wilson still had a foster license. William Pitts, 12 News.
Thanks a lot, William.
Terrifying.
Mhm.
Absolutely terrifying. She should have never, ever been approved in the state of Arizona.
Right?
The thing that is disgusting, so I will say, in a foster family, for over 16 years. These kids are neglected, they're abused, they're assaulted. Going through years and years of therapy, you find out that the actual neglect can be as bad as any abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. The neglect from day one damages the brain, damages the body, the nervous system, all of these things. So many foster kids have food fear. They hoard food, they hide food. They do not know where their next meal is coming from. So for a foster parent to use that against them is absolutely a travesty. Not going to make it about us and what we did to help the kids leave some of those fears, but it's awful that we give, I don't even know, funds and funds and funds for A, B, and C, but we do not take care of these vulnerable children in any state. You're in Arizona, I'm in Illinois. It's straight across the country. There are some states that do better jobs than others in different aspects. Mental health may be better off. I know Arizona is, they passed Jacob's Law. You call in for mental health, you get mental health within 24 hours. Illinois does not have that law. You're lucky if you get any mental health. But there's other things in Illinois that I know that we have, college funding, different programs that help for kids. So there are some great programs here, but all along the way, people dismiss, abuse, and absolutely forget about these children. And it's a travesty.
I think it's sad. I mean, the fact that they were tied to the bed, for their own safety. I mean, like, that's a red flag right there, and so I don't get why that she couldn't be charged with even that. I mean, it's like, that just seems like child abuse to me, and the cops
The thing
saw it.
is, there's a very fine line from a foster parent and a foster child. So foster children are very damaged, not because of their own, means. They're very damaged. So they may be manipulative, testing, traumatized, all of these things. Immediately they want to test you. Immediately they want to go against you because they want to show you, I don't need you. You're going to reject me anyway because everyone else does. They come up with all these coping mechanisms. So they may lie about a perfectly wonderful family or parent, but then you have the flip side. Then you have the foster parent that could be doing it for the wrong reasons. Maybe they're doing it for the right reasons. Maybe they really love children. They want to help children, but they do not have control over their anger, and they don't know how to deal with traumatized children, and they don't know how to deal with their own anger. So you have these two toxic worlds that come together and make a perfect storm. And I hate the word perfect storm. It's absolutely the opposite. It's like a totally destructive storm. But it's harder to find a stable foster family that can take care of an unstable foster child, or a stable foster child that can still make it in an unstable foster home.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just feel like if she could do that, it makes you wonder what more was going on in the home. And the real question is, why did he want out of that house so bad?
Right. Why was he always trying to get out?
Mm-hmm. That's the real question. And then it's like, I know we had talked about this earlier, and I know, like, okay, so he was 10 years old when he went missing, and this is what, been like, oh, it'll be 10 years this year since this happened. So his twin sister is going to be 18. I don't know how old the brother was or is. And I don't know about the other 2 kids that I guess she adopted when she was in California. But the just the fact that, what's up with the California, not getting back to anything, you know?
You know what?
Like,
We
they're
did foster care.
pushing it back,
Yeah, we did
and then it
foster
just
care for
disappears. You what?
we did foster care for 16 years. A little bit more than that. But we're still at the tail end of it. We adopted 1 child. Okay. There were different things in and out. The goal wasn't to adopt, but the loops and the things that we had to go through, and we're a married couple, we had to go through more because it was like 2 people trying to be one person to meet all of their needs and goals, and then they wanted to send us to marriage counseling if you had a different opinion or he had a different opinion of whatever. Nope, that's not right. I mean, the loops and the hoops and the rigmarole. Of course, we do it all over again for our son.
Well, I
But
remember, like, when you were first, signing up to try to become a foster parent, and
Mhm.
even, like, the letters that are sent out
Mhm.
to get, feedback on how
Yes.
you are as a person, and, like, do you think that this person would be good with children, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot going into becoming a foster parent that you have to go through, and it just makes me wonder how someone like her become a foster parent.
Well, and a single parent. There was 2 of us. We had a good income, a good stable home. We actually had more than the 2 of us. We had our own son and my mom. So we had quite a bit going on, and we didn't do it till our son was older. So he was almost an adult, and we had all of the support. So there was a lot. There was still trauma involved. The thing that's upsetting, and I will give grace to anyone who does foster care because it is not easy. So whatever she had going on, um, anger, fear, child running over her, whatever her situation was, maybe he literally stuck out every single night and tested every ounce of her being. But when you cross that line, you cross that line. It doesn't matter anymore. But the support, the follow through that the agencies and think needs to have, and they just do not offer it to these foster parents, and I've had some of my foster kids at one. I won't even get into the situation, but he broke my heart beyond belief. 7 years of love, commitment, everything, all about him. And he walked out the door and said we abused him. So there's that. And he was older. So it is what it is. But it was unfounded. It was proven beyond the reasonable, doubt that it was absolutely untrue. He had his own cell phone. He had contact with everyone, praised us at school. But then he got mad and at a certain age just flipped the script. But and continued to move on and on and on after that and do the same to everybody else. What was more upsetting to me in that situation over everything, instead of pulling him back in the family he'd been in 7 years and getting us counseling and working with us, they just said, "Oh, you're out. He's going somewhere else." And he went somewhere else, did the same thing, went somewhere else. Well, now he's so damaged. So the absentness, the no contact, that they have not enough contact, is what led that poor child to be in this situation. If they gave her more support, if they were more involved, he wouldn't have went to this degree.
Sad. So sad.
Mm-mm. Absolutely. And I believe, that there were no other leads. And I believe this hits home for both of us. It's your town. What I have done for the last 16 years, that poor boy, no matter what he had going on, did not deserve that. He deserved to get into therapy and counseling in a loving home who could meet his needs, who can meet his child. Not a single mom who had, how many kids did she have?
5?
Five kids, a single mom.
5 that she adopted.
Right. Right. Are you meeting all their needs? Are you completely stable in doing that? Does a 2-household income family who has all their mental health together, do they meet 5 kids' needs? I don't know. I don't. It's hard. But when you're going through all of that poor young man, someone failed. Well, many people failed him. And I actually don't believe it was the Buckeye police for once.
Yeah. I mean, the system failed him. She failed him as a
Oh,
mother. And, it's just sad all the way around that now this poor kid lost his life. And for what happened, no one will ever know, and the cause of death is still unknown as far as I know to this day. I mean, when
because
they
it was
found
too
him, he was
old.
just, huh?
It was too old.
Yeah,
They
I
couldn't
mean, when they
find
found him, it was 2 years later. It was just his bones, and they
Right.
had to get DNA just to identify him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know how you can determine the cause of death unless there was, like, some, like, trauma, like,
Like massive
some
head trauma.
yeah.
Right. But a stab without nicking a bone wouldn't be able to be seen on flesh something, or there's some, wouldn't be able to be seen when
Mm-mm.
something like that, if it doesn't hit a bone,
Right.
or
Yeah,
there's
none of that. It's
but
not gonna
that
be able
poor
to be
young
true.
man, and that he has a twin sister out there struggling through this. And I've had many kids who've been through situations and they're removed because of situations in their home, and they won't admit the truth for years and years and years. The fear of it either happening to them, or they just can't believe it is what happened. But when it comes out, it's
Mhm.
terrible. And who knows what those kids said, what they went through.
Yeah. So, I found somebody that used to work with her,
Okay.
and they're willing to talk, like, but not be identified.
Okay.
So, I'll
Wow, this was
see.
really close for you because it was right there in your hometown. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me see if I can get this person on here, and uh I don't know if you want to ask some questions or something.
I do have a couple questions I could come up with.
All right, hold on a second. Hi. I don't know what's going on, but
Okay. It
yeah.
didn't.
Apparently I
Sorry.
can't get no audio for her. So,
Oh,
but what I do know from this person, I know a lot about some of the stuff that happened.
okay.
And so when I was talking to her earlier about some of the stuff, she had said that she used to work with her at the prison, and I was shocked to find out that that she was actually a correctional officer at the
Wow.
time.
Wow.
And
Okay.
like, what?
So
You
she
know?
was vetted.
Huh?
She was vetted.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how could you be that way? I mean, God. And more so to find out that you worked in that kind of environment, um, and dealing with inmates. And then you hear if she had got arrested and got charged and go to prison, she's gonna go to the place where she used to work.
No, I know. Oh, they would have paid
So
back. They would have gave
can
her
you
a little
imagine?
welcome.
Can you imagine that?
Oh, they would have
So
gave her a little prison welcome.
yeah. Anyway, so she was telling me that um one time I guess that they have to go and check in and get like weapons and stuff whenever they go out on like transportation runs, take inmates to hospitals or whatever if they gotta sit on them at the hospital because there's always got to be some kind of security there or whatever.
Okay.
So that this officer was telling me that she had ran into her. That Crystal also was going on a transportation run, and so she was getting ready to check in to get her weapon, and this officer says, "Hey, how's it going? Where you going? Who's your partner?" And Crystal responds with, "Why you got to be all up in my Kool-Aid?" And I'm like, "What the heck kind of I'm like, "Why? What kind of response is that?" I'm sorry to laugh about this, but this is funny.
I'm sorry to laugh too, but oh my God, that's hilarious. Why you gotta be all up in my Kool-Aid? What is
I'm like, she just says like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then, like, what run are you going on? And that's her response. But she's like, she says she's not a very nice person. She wasn't very, uh, like fun to work with or anything because
okay? That would be fun to work with if she was joking, because that's how I'm gonna use that comment from now on.
Mhm. Yeah, but the
But
thing is, she wasn't
if she
like,
didn't
she's
mean
not a
it
nice
funny or
person.
nice.
Yeah, she wasn't a nice person. Like she would like take people's food. Like if she would see like a Snickers bar in their backpack, and she would just go up and just take it and tell them, "Oh, you don't need this." And
What?
then, yeah, I'm like, wow, that's kind of bold
Uh-huh.
to do that. And then, she said another time she had gone on a transportation run, labor and delivery, and anyways, so when the inmates have babies, um, if they don't have someone to pick them up, then they have to be picked up by CPS and go into foster care.
Yes.
So the day that this officer went on her transportation run, inmate has the baby, and the day that the baby was supposed to be picked up by the family hadn't been approved yet. So they were gonna have to have foster care pick pick the baby up. So she goes out in the hallway and she sees Crystal out there and she's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" And and she's like, "I'm here to, pick up a baby." And I'm like, "This baby?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh." And I'm like, You work for CPS? What?" Because I think at this time, I don't think Crystal was working for the prison anymore. I'm not real sure. And
So
so
you're
anyway,
so
yeah, she was.
you're so wait, so she worked for she worked for the prison. Then your friend was on this prison run, and or I mean the transport to the hospital, so the prisoner's having a baby, and then Crystal's out there in the hall, and your friend's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I am picking up the baby." So it was very clear that she was working for Child Protective Services to get this baby. But was she still working for the prison? Do you know?
I don't know
Okay.
if she was or
Okay.
not. Um, but she said that Crystal had told her that she was a foster parent and that she was picking that baby up to take to her house. And so then the officer went back in and she was talking to her partner that she was working with that day and told him, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe who I just saw out there and who's taking that baby." And so they were like, "Oh my God." And
So
so,
lots of people didn't think she was a nice person.
mm-mm,
Uh,
mm-mm. No, and the
that's
fact
too
that she was
much.
a foster parent on top of that,
Right.
and
Sure.
then that she was taking this brand new newborn baby into her care. And of course, I don't think anybody even knew that she had all these other kids or that, or even that she was a foster parent for
Right.
that matter. I don't know,
Right.
but that
Ugh.
it's just like, wow, you know? So,
I wonder if that little baby got to go back with its mama.
yeah, I do. I did ask her if she knew if that baby went back, with if the mom or if the family of the baby or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I think she said, um, when she saw the inmate, I think it was like the next day or so that the baby did go back with the family. So
Oh,
thankfully, the baby wasn't with her for too long.
yeah.
And,
Thank God. Thank God.
yeah, I was like, "Oh my God." My stomach instantly was like, "Ugh," you
Yeah.
know, when I
Yeah. That's
heard all that. I'm like,
terrifying. Well,
I
and then
don't
you
know
go
what.
back and think of the lives of the kids that she affected before this poor young
Oh,
man.
yeah. I mean, look at the ones that are in California,
I
what they were
know.
talking about that had, you know, weren't getting enough food and were underfed and being
That
punished.
is so disgusting to me because most kids already go through that through neglect of their parents, either, being poor or on drugs or whatever mental health issues. I will have to say that there, there's exceptions to every rule, but a lot of they don't take kids away for poverty. So in general, if you're not getting enough food for your family, they're not taking your kids away from you. The actual neglect of kids not getting enough food isn't through poverty in those senses. Neglect, it's abuse, or purely the parents are just on drugs or mentally not capable of supplying that. So when these kids come into care, that's one of the main things is the actual absence of the food and the substance and the fear. You can't go to school and function like everyone else when you are still afraid of if your stomach's going to be full, because it hasn't been for so long. It's such a
Mhm.
psychological thing. So to be a foster parent and to perpetuate that lack of food is disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. It's just sad that none of the people that did see him had, like, done something about it sooner, knowing that he was out in the middle of the night and the
Mhm.
fact that he did look emaciated, you know, um, that would have been a good point. That right there would have been a red flag, you know?
And, ooh, 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 ooh. And again, like you said, why did he want to get away so bad?
Mhm.
Now, here's my thing. It could have been because if I had kids, they think they're going to act up, they're going to get kicked out, and they're going to go back home. No matter what the parents have done. A lot of times, the foster parents, the natural parents, did not mean to lose their kids.
Mhm.
If you're an addict, if you're in an abusive relationship, you have all these issues, you didn't mean to lose your kids, you're lost yourself. But these kids sometimes think if they do this, that, this, they'll get to go back home. Okay.
Mhm.
But here's my thing. If she was a good foster mom and I could give her the benefit of the doubt, and the kid was unruly or wanted to get kicked out or was a 10-year-old, rambunctious, or had some kind of trauma in his life that was what it was, why did she up and move to Georgia? I'm a foster parent of 16 years. I will never change my phone number because a couple of years ago, I had a young man about 2 years ago who left here, and he told me, I am going to call you when I'm 17. I will be back here when I'm 17. And he always said, I'm going to bring my car. And my husband would be like, there's your parking spot. We're saving that spot in the garage for you. And I believe that child, the new family he went to, wouldn't let him contact me. He said, I remembered your phone number because all the times you let me put it in at the register. And he has called me and said, I will come and I will find you. And I believe that. And I couldn't change my phone number. You know, even thinking about moving, we're like, no, like, I don't know, but I could never change my phone number. So how can she move out of state knowing that young man might have been kidnapped? He might have run away. He might come back to her.
Well, I think she left for Georgia right after he was found.
Oh, I read it was right before he was found.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go double check, but I thought
Either way, that makes it more suspicious. If you left right after he was found, why didn't you? You know, and then I saw the picture for the memorial they built for him, teddy bears and this and that. How much of that was from her?
Right.
She moved right after he was found. Why? Why didn't you seek what happened?
Probably for the reason that they went out there and extradited her butt right back here.
And how many times did you visit that memorial? What did you do to set up that memorial? We know. Why am I having a hard time saying memorial? I don't know, memorial. But how many times we know people, you, me, who've lost people, and you rebuild the memorial when it's become kind of weathered or, you know, just over time. You visit that memorial, it means something to you. And
now I'm curious because I've never been over there, and this is like not even like a mile from my house.
You gotta go. You gotta go, girl. When you told me about the story, and I'm like feeling the spirit of going there. It's the same with Elfrida. Like I go there, you know, there's something drawing me. It's the same with other places, other people I won't explain right now that we'll talk about later, but you know, I do feel a draw to give rest and respect to those people, even though we didn't know them. You know, that child, someone needs to tell him sorry. Someone needs to tell him we should have done better.
Yeah, it was on like Broadway in the 85.
God, Broadway terrifies me. Isn't everything happen on Broadway?
I know. It's like no matter what side of town. Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, I believe that it was either Broadway or Southern, and I'm not that far from there. So I just don't drive that way. There's nothing over there. I mean, it's just you know. So
I had a storage room over there. I had a storage room over there on Broadway by the airport. I don't know why. I do know my dad. I know someone else set it up for me, but that area I've always frequent that area. It's bizarre, and I think
downtown. Especially downtown, Broadway, all that area down there is scary. But out here, you're in the middle of the desert. It's the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Where's that Mexican restaurant we went to?
Which one?
Maria's or something. Was it Maria's? We went with Shay and maybe Kim. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was on Broadway. But the airport's on Broadway, right?
I think it's on Lower Buckeye.
Oh, okay. You know, it's been years.
I know.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Unfortunately. I know. I need to make a trip.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
should be tomorrow because it's going to be -20 here.
Get on a plane. Get your butt out
I
here.
can't even take a plane now. It's going to be -20.
Oh, they won't fly.
There. Well, depends on if we have ice, but schools are closed tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
who knows? Yeah.
Well, soon. It's
I
nice
know.
out here.
Huh?
I said it's nice out here.
I know.
It's
I
gonna be
know.
like almost 80 by like next week, I think. So,
Crazy.
but yeah, I'm gonna have to
Sorry,
try and
we
come out like maybe in the summer. I'll have to see, and if I can get my husband to take a few days off, and if we
That
can
would
get
be
someone to
awesome.
watch all the kitties, then I can come out.
That'd be awesome. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry we
really.
got distracted. That is the case of
Jesse Wilson.
Jesse Wilson. And I will be looking into it. We will be looking into it a little bit more, maybe visiting the site, maybe digging up. You got to start up. If you know something, say something. Reach out, make a comment. If you saw anything. I did see there was some interviews with the kids. And
I haven't seen any of those.
well, one, it couldn't be verified, so I'm not even going to say what the interview was or what was said. They did say they witnessed abuse, and but I also know that prosecutors have a hard time. There's delayed memories, especially with foster kids. There's all kinds of things they can say, fabrications, what's it called? People put in memories for them or coach them.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to say. So there's lots of that. But I've had kids who've held on to secrets for years and involving massive abuse and murder of a sibling, and held on to those secrets for years and years and years because of the fear of that parent, and the fear of what will happen to them, or the fear that the parent has put in them for authority figures.
Mhm.
So I just pray through the grace of God that more will come out and that she will be held accountable. I feel that let's just say randomly that it's not her. I don't believe that, but I think the Buckeye police, they literally said there's only one person that knows what happened to him, and it's her. Her story changed. There was evidence against her. It's a travesty to me that the law does not work like it does on TV sometimes. I was involved in a foster care situation where a child was murdered. Only 2 adults were with that child. They can't arrest them. They can't hold. The prosecutor knows they don't have enough evidence for the defense.
And that's kind of like this whole thing right here with
Yeah.
Jesse, and it's sad. I mean, do I think that she's guilty? I think it's a very strong possibility that she is.
Oh,
I believe that she definitely knows more than what she's saying. I think that it's possible that she was maybe disciplining him and it got out of hand and it went too far, and
absolutely could be.
that maybe she accidentally did, something that she didn't mean to do. Who knows? And she had to cover her tracks. So anything's possible, and I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but there's so
I
much.
also know too that innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but we all have to answer to our higher power, and she will be held accountable at some point, or whoever will be. But to advocate for these children, more should be done, And the child that I had, he was only 5 when his sibling was killed, and he held on to that secret until he was almost 9, and could finally trust, but only could trust when he knew he was getting away from that parent forever. But the detectives, the defense, they were like, nah, like he was 5. He doesn't have a good memory. The kid knew exactly what he was talking about, and he knew. He kept it from everybody for those 4 years because he was afraid he'd be next. But it's not like on TV. They can't just poof. That kid comes in, tells his story, but he does know, and people will be held accountable.
And the older he gets and the more that he, is open to talking about it, because something that traumatic, you're not going to forget, no matter how young you were, it's just like something traumatic happens to you, you remember it. I mean, I remember getting bit by a dog when I was 2,
Yeah.
so it's like there's things I remember about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and foster kids are used to trying to protect themselves. So
Mhm.
that was a protection and he had it. It wasn't a repressed memory. It was a straight purposeful lie until he felt safe enough to be able to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's hard. And I'm sure that this young man's siblings may be going through that. May have,
Well, hopefully, something will be done and it's not too late that he can, or that he could sometime say something.
get some justice. Yeah. So I have
Right.
2 things on that. If anyone has any information, reach out. But also, if you have any kind, I wish I had cards I could give to like the whole state or the whole country. Like, if you're having a struggle with your child, give me a call. We'll just come get them, no questions asked. Give you a little breaky break, But reach out if you need it. If you need help, any reason with your child. There's so many people now who are totally understanding and absolutely willing to help. And then on this young man's case or any other, be aware, pay attention. You see abuse, say something. You see neglect, say something. If you know anything about this case, say something.
Mhm.
Somebody knows something.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're in Buckeye, you have any idea or you knew her, Crystal, you knew more about what was going on, um, reach out. You can email us. The email address is at the bottom of the screen. We would, definitely like hope that somebody would have more answers or that knows something that's afraid to say something. Let
Yeah,
us know.
the Buckeye police are not giving up on this. And when I said it's not the Buckeye police's fault this time, I'm seriously not against the Buckeye police or any police. I did not mean that. We've been involved in other things in general, but I don't mean that as derogatory towards them in a blanket statement. So they are not giving up. I'm actually very happy the case is still open and they feel they know exactly what happened. And I feel they're in the right area. They just need a little bit more evidence to actually bring the case to justice.
Yes. So if you have any tips or any other topics that you would like us to cover, then you can email us at talkingfreely@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to be a guest and maybe cover some of the stuff that we've already talked about, if you have more knowledge on it, let us know. And we'd love to have you on our show. So in the meantime,
Or if you would like to be a foster parent or you are a foster parent and you need resources, help, therapy, anything, reach out to me. I am in Illinois. She's in Arizona, but I work with DCFS for the last 17 years, and I am no longer in-house fostering, but I am still connecting kids with families and resources, and there are so many wonderful programs out there that help support you. And then if you'd like to become a foster parent, because foster kids always need good homes, and this is an example. They need love, and it's not their fault. They are not in the situation because they are throwaway kids. They are not throwaway kids. I have adopted an amazing young man that Rainey got to meet when he was just barely Yeah, little
Yeah,
peanut,
he was 3 years old. Now he's how old?
19, almost 20.
Wow.
Amazing young man. Amazing young man. So, yeah, he beat all the odds. So, if you have questions, you need any help in any source, just let us know. Thank you. That's what I have to say.
All right. Well, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. If you're watching on us on YouTube or on Spotify, we appreciate you. And if you have anything you'd like to add, you can leave comments in the comment section, and we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, peace.
Peace and love. Thank you.